Hey guys, what's going on? I have here a collab between Ryse and Noel Dezel. Now, if you don't know who Noel is, you should, by the way. He's one of the most popular guys in bodybuilding when it comes to Instagram and social media videos. He's always making some kind of entertaining or educational or any kind of social media video. He's out there. Now, this is a huge pre-workout. This is a monster formula, at least on first glance. Anyone who's beginner will look at this and say, this is one of the biggest, has to be one of the baddest pre-workout formulas available today. And they wouldn't be wrong because there's nearly 40 grams of ingredients here. 40 grams, that's huge. A lot of competing pre-workouts would have, the big ones, they at least have 30 grams around that per serving, 30 grams. But when we look at the details of each ingredient, it's a little deceiving because it's not exactly full of ingredients that would compete against those 30 gram serving pre-workouts because it's using kind of like cheap ingredients. So that's why it's really important for me to go over the ingredients so you know what you're putting in your body and if it's an effective ingredient to have, if it's worth the cost in a pre-workout. And then we'll go down to my experience. So the first couple of ingredients here, which just says the calories, which is 10 calories, 2 grams of carbs. Then it says some electrolytes, sodium and potassium, a little higher sodium, which is good to have than potassium. Potassium should always be lower when it comes to hydration. So now we get to the good stuff. The good stuff. Starting off with the pump fuel. Who doesn't like the pumps? 11 grams total of these two ingredients, citrulline and citrulline nitrate. So citrulline nitrate is full of nitrates. It hits a bit differently when it comes to the pathways for nitric oxide levels. So citrulline can increase nitric oxide levels through arginine. However, nitrates can hit the pumps through the nitrate pathway, which is a totally different pathway. So you're getting a surgenic effect with two different ingredients that hit pumps two different ways. And there's still more ingredients that give pumps. So starting off, it's a very nice 9 full grams of pure citrulline, following with a 2 gram dose of citrulline nitrate. And of course, this is if you take the full serving at 2 scoops. So even at 1 scoop, you would still be getting enough citrulline to get some nice pumps, as well as a nice little dose of nitrates. So then we have Beta-Alanine, 6.4 grams. So I think this is one of those ingredients. It's useful to have, but at the same time, there's no need to have such a big dose of this at 6.4 grams. 3.2 would have been enough, but hey, each pre-workout has their own formula and their own ways of doing things. So Beta-Alanine, I think at 6.4 grams, I think it could have been replaced with another ingredient to make it, give it a competitive edge, because a lot of pre-workouts have high quality ingredients. They have Beta-Alanine just enough to see some benefits, but not 6.4. This is a huge dose. It's not a bad thing, but it's also one of those ingredients that's in here that's cheap that makes the serving look huge. And Beta-Alanine, I don't think there's any benefits to be seen, right away. It takes time to work, and the effects are not as great. They're not so noticeable. That's my honest opinion on Beta-Alanine. Then we have Betaine Anhydrous. This is a strength booster. This is an ATP producer. So like creatine, it can increase water retention. It can help with ATP production, but it has a water retention effect. So it's an osmolalite ingredient, so it'll increase the water retention that's put into your muscles. So combined with creatine, it should have a surgenic effect, a 2-in-1 effect for strength boosting and pumps. A very nice way. And it's also one of those ingredients you don't need more than 2.5 grams worth of, but 5 grams should have benefits. If you've never tried Betaine, you'll see some benefits from this, especially at the huge dose of 5 grams. Then we have creatine. This is not so much of a pre-workout ingredient. It's a beneficial ingredient that takes time to saturate in your body. So when you have increased levels of creatine, it takes a couple of days to reach that level. And you need to keep that daily intake, or you need to take a regular basis kind of thing when it comes to creatine. You need to take it on a regular basis. So that means taking it, 5 days of the week or 25 days of the month to see the most out of it. So having this in a pre-workout, another cheap filler type of ingredient that you don't really need to have. You can have it anytime. You don't need to have it as a pre-workout. But hey, if you're not getting your creatine, it's nice to have it in a pre-workout. But that just means you have to take this pre-workout frequently. Choline bitrate. This is a nice ingredient for nootropic. It has a nootropic that works well when it's combined with huperzine, but unfortunately there isn't any huperzine in this. So you would have had all day focus, which would last long after your workout is done. Choline increases that production of that neurotransmitter that we call the learning neurotransmitter. So that's called acetylcholine. Having choline in your diet, in your supplements, this can increase acetylcholine production, and having that will increase concentration and focus, leading to better workouts overall, a better mind to muscle connection, at least on theory by paper. So now we have pink Himalayan salt, 500 milligrams, that's probably providing the potassium and sodium. Caffeine, 250 milligrams. There's in total 400 milligrams of caffeine, which makes it on the higher limit of caffeine. And there is one other stimulant here, Theobromine. So after caffeine is hydrolyzed casein tripeptide. So this is VasoDrive. This is a nice nitric oxide booster as well. But if you're super lactose intolerant, you have to be careful with this ingredient because it is derived from milk, but it's such a tiny amount of milk that you shouldn't notice a difference unless you're exceptionally lactose intolerant. So keep that in mind, be cautious of that. Theobromine, this is a mild version of caffeine. It gives more of a mood uplift compared to caffeine. It's a cousin of caffeine basically. Then we have extended release caffeine. This is a slow release caffeine, 50 milligrams. In my opinion, if you want long lasting energy, you want some different pathways of energy from different stimulants that attack, the energy in different angles and different levels. So with caffeine, it can increase alertness by decreasing the thing that makes you feel tired, which is andodesine. So caffeine has a lot of benefits when it comes to performance, mentally and physically. There's so much to get from caffeine. That's why it's in, a lot of pre-workouts, because it's useful. So then we have a nootropic, 20 milligrams. This should increase blood flow to your brain. A very nice ingredient to have as well. And that is it for the ingredients. A lot of ingredients are mega dosed, they're not really mega dosed. There's still dosages that's used in scientific studies. So it's not like they put these ingredients just to make the formula look big. There are some benefits to the dosages, if even a Beta-Alanine at 6.4 grams. But then we go and compare other pre-workouts that have similar, formulas, but with more high quality patented ingredients or ingredients that do various things. When you have Beta-Alanine, I don't think that's one of those ingredients that you need to have in the pre-workout. It doesn't make that big of a difference in my experience. So having a pre-workout with, instead of Beta-Alanine, maybe agmatine, maybe huperzine, that's my criticism of the formula. They could improve anytime, right? They could release a version 2 of this formula. But all in all, how's the experience? So first things first, the powder itself, they have to mask a lot of flavor. When you have big doses of ingredients, some ingredients can really have a negative effect on flavor. So you need to have a lot of artificial sweeteners. And I feel they've done that with Ryse Godzilla. You have to have a good tasting pre-workout if you are going to be on social media, going viral with these videos. People are going to complain if they don't have good flavor. At least that's like the mainstream of people who are taking pre-workouts. The first question they have is, does it taste good? So it doesn't taste good at all. It tastes like medicine to me. And I have here Monster Berry Lime, but I still drink it. I still enjoy it because it's a pre-workout. It's putting me in the zone. I don't care about the flavor, but a lot of people I know will care. So keep that in mind. The other thing, besides the massive amounts of artificial sweeteners that just wreak havoc, I think in the long term for the stomach, is the glitter. Why is there glitter? There's literally glitter inside the powder. And it's not necessary. We don't look at the powder. We don't do anything with the powder other than drink it, mix it in water. We don't want the clitters. So Ryse, if you're watching this, make a pre-workout that has higher quality ingredients, less artificial sweeteners, no glitter. Just the most important thing out of this is don't put glitter in version 2. But hey, each pre-workout has their own style, and for me, I think this is a negative in my honest opinion. Don't come at me with, oh, you don't know anything, you're not that big. But stay educated about the formula, know what you're getting, compare it to the other pre-workouts that are in the similar price range and see what you're getting. Put the ingredients side by side and you will see a difference, my friends, when you're comparing big formulas and pre-workouts compared to this one. So how is the experience? Drinking this after getting past the taste is good. I feel that increase of energy almost right away. That's normal with pre-workouts because it has caffeine. Caffeine is fast hitting. But the energy doesn't just last, and it doesn't just increase within the first hour. It lasts for hours. But here's the thing. It's very predictable. It's a very straight tunnel. So if you were to enter a tunnel, the first step would get you inside the tunnel. And it may have a slight incline when it comes to energy, but it's not anything that's unpredictable. You're never going to be in survival mode, which is a great thing, even though it has a massive amount of caffeine. I think the other ingredients just make it feel a little bit, not smoother, but it just feels like the other ingredients impact the absorption of caffeine. So I never really got jitters or anxiety or anything like that, even though it doesn't have theanine, but maybe the nootropics just make it a really nice, smooth experience, which is a good thing because nootropics are next level. And the focus is great, but I notice it doesn't last more than 4 or 5 hours. But I do notice if it had huperzine, I would probably have much longer focus. And 4 hours is good. It's a pre-workout. It's meant for your pre-workout. And you're not supposed to have all day focus anyway off of a pre-workout because it's meant for workouts. But the energy is literally like a straight arrow. It goes into a tunnel. It may go on an incline. It might have a slight peak at the 30-minute mark, which happened with me, and I noticed the energy is long lasting. So the pumps are good. This is the interesting part. I thought I would get like massive pumps. I did get nice fullness, but I didn't get like insane dry pumps or anything that I would expect from nitrates and high doses of nitric oxide. But I do notice it does sit a little heavy and it does take a little longer to feel normal. And I feel like the artificial sweeteners, even after I drink it, I feel like my mouth is just full of it. And I think my mouth is even colored when I take this, just a little bit slightly, and it's noticeable. So that's why, it's another reason why you need to calm down with those flavorings, Ryse. So the energy is a straight arrow. It literally goes from point A, point B. They might have some incline. And there isn't anything like crazy like euphoria, but there is, it's just a slight energy kick, which is really great, which comes with the motivational kick as well. And I'm usually like a motivated guy, so if you give me a bit of energy, I'll be motivated and I'll be good to go. But there are better pre-workouts. It's just, this is quite the big formula with a lot of ingredients to digest, I think they will eventually resize the formula to something smaller. There's no way they can keep up the 40-gram serving with higher quality ingredients. But anyway, back to the experience. It's quite predictable. There's nothing strange. The energy is there and it goes into a straight arrow. It's standard. It's caffeine. There isn't any yohimbine, nothing to make you nervous. I didn't get any jitters or anxiety, but this is a high caffeine pre-workout. So even at half a serving, you would get 200 milligrams of caffeine, which is quite sufficient for a lot of people because you still have the nootropics, you still have those nitric oxide boosters. So it really does feel like it's trying to do everything with pumps and energy, but it does go a little high on the ergogenic aids like creatine, Beta-Alanine, and I feel good. Like I feel stronger, but just the artificial sweeteners, it just has like a little hit on the system and it doesn't feel that great. So something a little better. So I'm gonna compare this actually to other pre-workouts I have. And one of those pre-workouts is El Jefe. El Jefe, the newer version, the third version, I recently did a review video on, has more of a stimulant profile than pumps, but it still has nice pumps. But the stimulant formula, it's one of the strongest pre-workouts you can get right now without exotic stimulants. So you will get quite the energy kick from El Jefe, and it will be a very nice experience, a very not straightforward, but a very predictable one because of all the stimulants in there. It's like half the formula is stimulants. So if you're looking for pumps and strength benefits, then Ryse Godzilla is the way to go. El Jefe, if you want that stim junkie, non-exotic pre-workout with high energy and good pumps, El Jefe is a good choice. Then we have Bulk Black. This is going to be a popular comparison, Ryse Godzilla versus Bulk Black. So Bulk Black contains a very minimum of ergogenic aids. So it has Citrulline, it has Betaine, Beta-Alanine, but doesn't go crazy. But it's clean, it's very clean, and it's still a very stim junkie friendly pre-workout, because in between those days I take very high, strong pre-workouts. Bulk Black still feels great, and it has that perfect amount of caffeine. 300 milligrams, while Ryse Godzilla has 400 milligrams. So Bulk Black is naturally sweetened, naturally flavored. So there isn't anything like going on in the system when it comes to digestion. And the formula is so simple that it can't wreak havoc on your system. It's very light to take. It's very clean and very easy to absorb and digest. So I feel like Bulk Black or El Jefe, really any other big pre-workout are going to compare fairly well with this. Even though this has one of the biggest formulas, it still has a massive amount of Beta-9, Beta-Alanine, creatine. So, and the flavor, I mean, I won't put the flavor against the score, but it's just super artificially sweetened, like super. You have to, with a big formula like this, you have to mask the flavors. Like citrulline on its own tastes nasty. You gotta flavor it somehow. But if you do want to get this, all respect to Ryse and Noel Dazel, this is a great pre-workout. It just has to make some adjustments maybe for those people who want something a little bit healthier, or a little bit less of those artificial sweeteners and less of those filler ingredients. But use my coupon code FITFRIC to save a little bit. This is one of those pre-workouts that you might want to experience. Maybe if you want to experience to see if these ergogenic aids will hit you, you know, Beta-9 and Beta-Alanine, because they are big, massive doses. And even at half a serving, you're still going to get comparable amounts to other pre-workouts when it comes to those type of ingredients that are mega dosed in Ryse Godzilla. But anyway, it's a good pre-workout. But you don't need a pre-workout. You need to focus on yourself. You need to focus on getting your sleep quality, focus on getting a good diet, good rest, good detox from those things that you do overly too much, like your phone. Go to the gym and don't focus on your phone. Look in the mirror and connect with your body. Destroy your workouts. Don't let this pre-workout make or break your workouts. Do what you want and get jacked. Yeah, buddy.